Hello everyone, and welcome to Teaching and Learning with Chrome. This is a recording made for the attendees of the WEMTA conference. This is just in case I wasn't able to present this live. I wanted to have the recording available for you, and you can review this at any time. And even if I am presenting this live, now you'll have a recording that you can refer back to and come back to and be able to listen to and watch again in case you missed anything. My name is Tricia Lewis, and I'm the Technology Integration Professional for the Richland School District in Richland Center, Wisconsin. My role is technology integration. I do not carry a course load, so I am free to help teachers and students be able to utilize the technology that we have through our district. So I'm kind of on the user side of things. We are one-to-one iPads in grades K through 3, and we are Chromebooks in grades 4 through 12. If you'd like to find all the resources for this presentation, please go to my website at tricialewis.com/WEMTA-Feb-23. Again, that's tricialewis.com/WEMTA-Feb-23. And there you're going to find the links to everything that I'm going to be talking about today during this session. And what are we going to cover during this session? Well, we're going to cover some great extensions that I utilize. Not all the time, but sometimes I need ones and sometimes I need others. And so this is kind of a lot of them. But like I said, you don't use them all the time for everything. We're going to talk about a few marketplace add-ons. Those are the specific quote-unquote extensions, but they're called marketplace add-ons, but yet it says extensions in the drop-down. Kind of weird, but I have a few that I really like and I want to share with you. I have some Google goodies that I'm going to share with you. Maybe if we have a little extra time, I have maybe some other things in there, and then we will wrap it up. So let's go ahead and get started. Today we're going to look at all of these extensions, and we're just going to go ahead and start on the list. My first extension I want to share with you is the Loom extension. If you haven't heard of Loom by now, it would be very surprising. Loom is an awesome screen video recording tool. The best thing about it is that there is an EDU option available so that you get a free account, which means you can have up to 45-minute recordings and an unlimited number of recordings in the cloud. Loom just sits in your toolbar, and you just click the extension and you start to do your recording. You can choose to have your face on the screen or not in a bubble, and you can choose where you want that bubble at. And then also you might notice that there's this little Loom icon right here on my slides, that this just sits here in certain applications and you can turn it on or off. So if you need to start a Loom recording, sometimes they're just built right in and you don't even have to go to the extension. So I really love Loom. In fact, if I need to make any kind of, people ask me questions through email or whatever, a lot of times I'm just going to make a quick Loom video instead of having to type it all out. I can just make a 1-minute video and get them on their way. The next extensions I'm going to share with you are all regarding YouTube. Actually, it's 4 extensions that we're going to talk about. The first one is AdBlock Plus. AdBlock Plus is awesome. So let's take a look at how AdBlock Plus would work. So I'm going to go ahead and just get a guest window here, and I'm going to go to YouTube. And I'm going to Google a video that I'd like to watch. All right, so I have the video that I want to watch here, How Trees Bend the Law of Physics. And if I go to start the video,
Pampers Cruisers 360 for up to 100%
oh no,
free
an
fit.
ad.
Live wild.
And this would just freak probably the students out if that ad came up. We don't like that. We don't like to have those ads come up. So if you're using AdBlock Plus and you go to YouTube, and I search the same video, here's our video, and look.
Sometimes the simplest questions have the most.
it starts right away. Now there's something else that I'm going to show you here that's the next extension on there. Is something called DF-Tube. And DF-Tube stands for Distraction-Free YouTube. Okay, take a look at this window right here. What are you missing over here? Oh yeah, all those silly suggested videos that would take students off track. So all of a sudden you're watching this video and then all of a sudden they see this, why do venomous animals live in warm climates, and they want to watch this video. Or even something maybe inappropriate comes up over there that doesn't really have anything to do with anything. So if you have the DF-Tube extension installed, it blocks those distractions and just starts off that nice clean video. Let's continue on with another YouTube extension there, Picture in Picture. This is really cool. So say you're watching your YouTube video and you actually want to go to a different tab, but you still want to watch your YouTube video. Watch what happens. I'm going to start watching my YouTube video. In fact, let me turn down the volume a little bit so that I can still kind of keep talking over it.
Amazing answer.
And so I've got my YouTube video playing, and now if I hit the Picture in Picture extension, it pops out right here. But the cool thing about it is that it stays even on a new tab. And if I want to go to a website, I can, and that video still keeps playing. What is this good for? Well, say you are doing a tutorial on how to do something and you only have one screen. Instead of having to try to shift your windows or go back and forth between tabs, look, you can watch the video and still be able to be on the website that you want to be on. If you want to return back to the experience, right into where the video is at, of course you could go back to the tab at the top, but right if you hover over the video, it returns you right back to that tab. So that is an awesome extension. That Picture in Picture extension allows you to keep that YouTube video floating over the top of any tab. The final extension I'm going to share with you about YouTube is the YouTube screenshot extension. How many times have you watched a video and you wish, oh, I wish I could just pause this exactly right at the right time to get a screenshot? Well, guess what? If I just am watching the video, I can just click right where I thought I want to take the picture, and it was that little thing is hanging there. It says screenshot right there. And then I did that, and guess what? There is my screenshot that I took of that YouTube video. How awesome is that? Sometimes there's text in a YouTube video that you want to get. You could even bring this image into an OCR reader and be able to pull that text off. What an amazing extension to be able to take those screenshots of that YouTube video in a quick and easy way. So now that we've done some YouTube extensions, let's keep on going on. Next one I want to share is custom scroll bars. This is a new one that I've kind of added into my demo that I want to share. This one's especially good if you're on an interactive whiteboard, because what it does is it allows you to customize your scroll bars. And you can see how I've customized my scroll bar right here. I've made it wider for one thing. I've changed the background to black, and then I have this high contrast red. And you can go into the options and actually choose to always keep this on. Sometimes when you're on a website and you're on especially like the interactive board and you're using your PC or Mac through that, so hard to get to those to be able to scroll the right way. These custom scroll bars, that is an awesome thing. Maybe also helpful for students if they need to be able to see those scroll bars a little bit better. You can choose what colors you want them to be. So that is custom scroll bars. Tab resize, an amazing extension. So I have quite a few tabs brought up here, and I'm going to go into my tab resize extension, just sitting right up here at the top, and I can actually choose how I want to have my tabs look on the screen. So if you're on one screen, especially a small screen, and you want to be able to tile your tabs without doing it manually, tab resize allows you to do that. Now I happen to be on my desktop PC, so you can see that I have different monitors here. So you would choose the monitor that you're on and then resize appropriately. But if you're just on like your Chromebook, this works awesome because you can tile those tabs just the way that you want them to be. Page marker. Page marker is amazing. Why I love page marker is that it is simply a little tool that sits right up here. You bring it out and you've got a marker right on your web page. So I have that, the marker, you have highlighter, you can choose the color, you can choose to erase if you want to. There's a pointer, there's text tool, align. When you are using it, you can actually download an image of while you're drawing so that it'll actually save it. I'm going to clean off all of this at once. And so I cleaned it off at once. Now I'm just using my mouse to be able to do this drawing, which is sometimes not the easiest thing to do. You can use a little tablet, and if you look on the resources on this website, on the tricialewis.com/WEMTA-FEB-23, I have some suggestions for some drawing tablets. You can go cheapy, or you can get a little bit more expensive, like the Wacom Intuos, and you can actually be wireless. So I'm just on my quote-unquote cheapy one right here, and I can take that and I can actually draw much better than if I'm using with that mouse. So I love to be able to use the a tablet along with that. So I'm going to go ahead and I can choose the erase. Let's clear all that out. And then if you want to exit out of that drawing, you can. One last thing about Page Marker that's really cool. I'm going to go ahead and go to a new tab. I'm going to turn it off here. I'm going to go to a new tab and start Page Marker. This is really neat. So if I decide to make some marks here on the page, the ink is actually sticky. So I can scroll on my page and the ink stays where it's supposed to be. Amazing. So I hope you find some good uses for that Page Marker extension. Talking about being able to mark things up, I talked about Cami, and you can also use, like I said, that Wacom Intuos pad. What is cool about Cami and using the extension, I'm sure you've heard about Cami before, but Cami added something new at the beginning of the school year. I'm going to go back just into my slide document, and notice I have this little Cami extension right here. When I click that, it actually takes and quote-unquote transposes that Google Slide doc into a kind of a PDF type thing, and it's actually going to make it so you can mark on it and not like screw up your slideshow at all. So it actually opens up in this new window. I can do the drawing. It sticks. So I can be able to do each page if I wanted to. I could share this, I could save it, I could print that out when I get done. Of course, you have all the tools of Cami. I do have the paid version, so I have a few more tools here, but the basic free tools of Cami, this works with that. So if you need to use a markup tool, like on your slides or docs or even Google Sheets, you can utilize that Cami. With the Cami extension installed, you get the Cami button right there in your document. So that's really a neat thing. Note anywhere. Sometimes when you're on a web page, you want to take notes. Maybe you're just encouraging your students to take notes on what they read. I'm going to go ahead and click the extension, and it says there's no notes added on this page. So let's go ahead and add a note. And then we can add another note. You can also just keep adding notes, notes, notes. Now you can also make your notes different. So if you want to make a pink note and all that kind of thing, you can move your notes around. Now what's great about this, about the notes, is that it remembers the notes, but it's device specific. So I put all these notes on this website here. If I close the tab, and I open that tab back up again and go to that same site, all of the notes load. Now remember, this is device specific. So say if you did this on your desktop computer, it wouldn't show up on your Chromebook when you open it up and vice versa. But if you just kept them all on one device, it would be there. You can also see how many notes you have on a page. Right there at the top, the extension shows the number. I think that's awesome that the notes actually stick to where they want to be. I can go ahead and delete these notes as well, or I could just leave them. Just a great little extension for you to be able to take notes on a website. Google Dictionary. Oh, this is an awesome extension. So I'm just going to go to the Gettysburg Address. I just like having this available just so I can have some text. So I am going to go ahead and highlight a word, and then I'm going to go ahead and click the dictionary. Oops, sorry about that. Google Dictionary. Let's get that pinned up there. I should have had that ready to go. And so I highlighted the word, and then I can click the dictionary, and it gives me the definition of the word, and it even gives the pronunciation.
Famous, famous.
So that is a really good way for students to be able to look up words without having to start a new tab and all that kind of stuff. Simply highlighting the word again, and then clicking the extension.
Handwriting.
Amazing. So this next extension that we're going to talk about is the TTS reader, so text-to-speech reader. All sorts of ways to do text-to-speech. I really like this one because it's easy. So I put up my website, and I can simply click the extension, and it pulls the text in off the website, and I can start to play it. Let me make sure I get back to my English here. Oops. And I'm back to English here, and I could press play.
The Gettysburg Address by Abraham Lincoln. Soldiers National Cemetery.
And notice that it's taking what it sees there. Now, you could also do it a different way. You can actually just highlight what you want, and when the extension is stalled, you can right-click on that, and choose Play Selection.
407 years ago our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
So there's a couple of different ways to be able to utilize the extension. I like being able to have a variety of ways, make it easier for students and yourself to be able to consume web content. Let's talk about Use Immersive Reader. That is amazing. Immersive Reader is a technology by Microsoft, and what it does is something amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and just highlight extension here, or highlight something. And then I'm going to go ahead and right-click on it, and with the extension installed, that right-click comes up and it says, Help me read this. When you do that, it launches into the Immersive Reader mode. Now, the Immersive Reader has lots of different options that you can do with it. I can simply just start to play it.
407 years ago our fathers brought forth.
But I can also change the way it looks. I can go into the text size, change the text size. I could decrease that spacing, just whatever makes it easy. Change a font, not too many choices, which I like because sometimes you get too wrapped into so many choices. You can change how that text looks, depending on what's the best for your eyes. Even more options that you can do is that you can show the syllables. Oh, amazing. I'm going to turn those off, but what about this? It's going to show the nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. And you can even choose to show the labels if you want to, if the colors aren't good enough. That's completely amazing. If we go into this reading, we can choose to have a line focus mode. Choose 1 line, 2 lines, or many lines. That's a great way to use it. A picture dictionary. So if there's a word available that has a picture dictionary that has that in there, you can also listen to the word.
Score.
So you have those options available. Now here's the amazing thing. I am actually going to translate this as well. So let's go ahead and let's go to Hebrew today, and I'm actually going to choose a by document. Now what is amazing about this is not only does it show it, but it actually reads it.
לפני 47 שנים הביאו אבותינו ליבשת זו, אומה חדשה, שנולדה בחירות, ומוקדשת
How great to support our students, maybe in some foreign language classrooms, or some exchange students, or ELL students, just so many different things. How do you get it back to the English? You can go back to original. How do you get back to the regular web page? You just click back and you're right there. Use Immersive Reader, a fantastic extension for web browsing. Mote. I'm going to come back to Mote a little bit later, but Mote is talking about voice notes or things that you can put into documents. I'm going to come back to that when I'm in the document mode, and I'll share a little bit more about that. Unshorten it. Hey, in the days of digital citizenship, it's good to know where links are coming from. So I'm just going to click this here because I have a demo set up for me. Have you ever gotten a link that looks like this and you're like, I don't know if I really want to click on this link because, yikes, I don't know what that is. I mean, if it's not from a trusted person. So what you can do with this here is you can highlight it, and then I can right click on it and it says unshorten this link. So when I do that, it's going to pop into a new tab and it's actually going to show me what the real URL is behind that. So this was the tiny URL I got. This is the real URL, and if I decide that I want to go to that, I can go ahead and click on that and I'm right at the page. That's a great way for students and your staff to be able to decipher, is a link actually something I want to click on? So that is unshorten it. Let's talk about print friendly. Oh my gosh, print friendly is amazing. So we have this website here. We don't have to print very often, but maybe you want to make a PDF of it so it's available for some offline reading. All I have to do is have the page available, click my print friendly extension, and it comes up into a print friendly version. Now what makes this even more print friendly is that notice I can actually hover over sections and delete parts. So before this prints out, maybe I actually want to delete that navigation across the top because we don't really need to have that. Maybe I just want to delete that. Maybe I want to take out this picture here. Once I have the document the way that I want it, then I can go ahead and print it, or I can just shoot it right into a PDF. An awesome way to be able to print content either by PDF or to really print it on a hard copy version. Crafty shade. This is one that usually everybody loves. If you are a fan of smart technologies, you can remember the screen shade. Well, what if you'd like that in your Chrome window? Ta-da! Screen shade. I can click the extension and I can just put the overlay on, and it is sizable, so you can bring it in from every side. What's cool about this shade also is that you can put a timer on it. So I'm going to click the extension. I'm going to say hide after. So the shade will go away after, let's say 5 seconds, and it shows a countdown. So I put that on there, and you can have it for as long as you need. And so you want to have a big reveal. Ta-da! That shade goes away. I love that. I love crafty shade. That's usually kind of a wowzer. How about crafty zoom? Again, if you're a fan of smart technologies, you remember that they have this little zoom thing. You can bring that into your Chrome browser. I'm going to go ahead and start this, and it actually makes a little bit of a zoom feature so that you can zoom in on parts of the page and be able to bring those up. Now, of course, you can change the size of what the zoom looks like, but this is kind of a fun way to be able to look at a web page. If you're done using the crafty zoom, just simply click on that again and cancel it out, and you're back to your regular web browsing. All right, slides timer. So slides timer, I'm going to go back to my regular document here. And if you want to use slides timer, it's an extension up here. And it's if you put in certain kind of like quote unquote coded text, it actually does that. So if you would put in this text on your slides document, so I just highlighted and copied it. I'm going to go ahead and paste that on there. And I just pasted it in and it put a text box there. And if I were to play this slideshow, notice that I have a countdown timer right there, because that's what that slides timer does. It allows you to put those kind of timers on your slides documents. Kind of a cool utility to be able to have. If you don't want that on your slide anymore, simply just delete that text and it is gone. Record to slides. So with record to slides enabled, notice that I have a little icon here next to my Mote icon, which is next to my Cami icon. right here of a little video camera. So I'm just going to go into this. I have a blank page set up. And when I hit record to slides, I get this. So my webcam is going to turn on for me. And I can choose to have the microphone on or off. This is where you're going to set up your sharing options. So I like that right away. You don't have to worry about doing that later. So I can go ahead and hit record. So now I'm recording and I'll be able to put this into the slide. You have the video of what you want it to be, and then when you are ready to put it in, you press OK. Now this is something I just want to let you know that, oh, sorry about that. I actually have to, oh, there it is. Okay, cancel. Now the video might not play right away because it takes a little bit of time to process it. So this is something you really don't want to do, quote unquote, on the fly. But if you have some prep time and you want to be able to put a video right into a slides document, such an easy way to do it without having a whole lot of a rigmarole involved with it. Easy accent marks, wherever that you need to put text at. I'm just going to bring up a document here and say you need to put a accent mark in. I have that extension installed, and I can go to that and I can choose the language that I want to be in. So we say we have Spanish. And there's that, and see how it says it's copied, and now I can just paste it in. Great tool to have for when you need to put in some of those interesting accent marks on your documents. We are talking about tab space. Tab space is a new tab experience. The one that I use for my personal Chrome here, if I start a new tab, is called Momentum. It's cool, it's got the pictures, but tab space looks like this. I'm just using this on my school Chrome account, and notice it's a way for you to put notes in on your new tab. So I can actually type something here, and it auto saves it all the time. So now when I start a new tab, look, that is there. So it's kind of a way for you to kind of keep some notes online. Again, this is device specific. It's not in the cloud. So if you make a note, say on your Chromebook, it's not going to show up on your desktop PC, even if you're signed into the same account. But for kids on a Chromebook, that's their device. A great way to be able to take some notes. So tab space is a new tab experience. Keep Awake, that's an extension that only works on Chromebooks. Why I like to share this is because Chromebooks have a kind of an auto sleep policy that you can't change. Tab space Keep Awake overrides that. You can choose that way your Chromebook always stays on, the screen stays on, and the machine does not go to sleep. Just remember, if it always stays on, the power is going to go down faster, but then you don't have to worry about it going to sleep or the screen going to sleep, but that's the Keep Awake. Transpose Pitch, a fantastic extension, one that you can share with your music teachers. I'm going to go ahead and go into YouTube, and I am going to go to the Mozart Clarinet Concerto. And we want, let's see, I want accompaniment, B flat. All right, so I have the video right here. And of course, remember I have AdBlock Plus and DFTube, so we don't have any distractions on this. So when the video starts to play, we can actually change the way that the video plays back. Here it is. So I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. And if I go into the transpose pitch, I can actually transpose How amazing is that? And you can change the speed. So if I'm practicing, maybe I want to have it to 74%, but oh, now I'm ready for it to go faster. I can even loop sections. How amazing is that? It's like having your own personal accompanist. And look, loop sections, like I said. So if you want to go from the 10-second mark to the 20-second mark over and over and over again, that's what that will do for you. What an amazing, amazing extension. Confetti cannon. Why? Why? Because sometimes you just need to have some confetti and be celebratory for everything that we've just learned about, the confetti cannon. Now draft back. Now draft back is kind of a sneaky little extension. It's something that you can have on your Chrome, but your students don't necessarily have to have for it to work. In fact, they don't need it at all. And how does draft back work? Well, I'm going to pull up a document here. And this is something that I had for a demo. I just created a document. And I have the draft back extension installed. Now, that's nothing that you need to see across the top. But notice right here in my document, I have something that says draft back, 210 revisions. So if I do that, I can actually click that. And it's going to render. Now, on a longer document, it's going to take longer. But of course, this is just a really short document, so it didn't take very long. And I can view that. What it does is it plays back a movie of your Google Doc. So you can see I'm typing here. It tells the date, the time that you're typing. I came back and typed sometime later if I wanted to. I can go back in the document and I can replay it if I wanted to. You can scroll up and down. You can play it at a faster or slower rate if it's a big document. But what's really neat all about it is the document graphs and stats. If I go into that, I can see when the timeline of the activity on the document, where in the document changes were made at. And what I really like about this is that the span, how long they spent in the document, who the user was, so if they're doing a collaborative document, and how many revisions that they made. So this is a great way to kind of shoot down some copyright things if they're just copying pasting a whole bunch of text at once, or if you were to look and say, oh, Trisha Lewis spent, we'll pretend Trisha Lewis spent 10 minutes on the document, but Michael only spent 30 seconds on the document. That's not very collaborative. They didn't have the equal amount of sweat equity into the document. I just like that. Like I said, you have that on there and it works for any Google document from any person. So the person who writes it does not necessarily have to have it. You just need it on your site and you can always see what the data is on that document. Again, that's draft back extension and it works for any Google document. Now that we're done looking at those extensions, let's take a look at a few marketplace add-ons. First one we're going to look at is the OkioCam add-on, which is good for slides and for docs. I'm going to go back into my slides document here and I have an OkioCam on my desk all plugged in and ready to go. And if I start the extension, the marketplace add-on, I can go into that OkioCam and run that. And the sidebar is going to come up and notice that it shows my webcam or my .cam on. What I like about this is that it's a great way for you to be able to put something in a document that's all like right in the slides. You don't have to have another thing going on. So if I have the picture the way that I want it, I can choose to say fill out slide or fit in slide. Two different choices. And I'm just going to go ahead and say fill out slide. I'm going to take that image, I'm going to highlight it in blue, and then I'm going to say insert, and after a moment that image is now my slide. So I was able to take that quick picture of that, and I can even choose to do it again. So I can maybe turn this around this way, get my hand out of there. I'm going to choose this one now, and I'm going to say insert. And right there, our image is in our slide, all ready to go. So that's the OkioCam add-on for that. Music snippet, a fun way to do music inside of a Google Doc or Google Slide. So I just have a blank slide here, so we can do that. Let's go ahead and start that. And this is a way for students to be able to compose music right inside there. Now I'm using the free version. Your students can use the free version. This is how it works. We're going to go ahead and just put a single staff in. Then we can go ahead and click our notes in the way that we want it to be. And we don't care that, like I said, we're just using the free version because we are. So I can go like this. All right. So if that's the way I want that music to be, I can add that to the document. And that comes in as that image file. I can make it bigger if I want to. Now remember I was talking about moat and how I'd come back to it. Moat is a way for you to add an audio note to a document. And this works for slides, it works for docs as well. But I love it in conjunction with flat because the students could actually sing or play this musical snippet and it would record it right on the slide. So we can do that. All right, sorry, I had to reauthorize that. Sorry about that. So now I can go ahead. I can move this window so I can see my music. Bum, 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 bum. It recorded that. I can listen to it back. Bum, 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 bum. If I'm happy with it, I can go ahead and insert it right inside there. And now, not only do I have the music, but I have an audio recording all right on one slide, all right inside of slides without having to going outside into a different application to bring that in. Now I'm using it for music, but it could be used for anything, any kind of audio that you want to put inside into that document. Amazing. Moat is so cool. Insert icons. Let's take a look at that. Why do I love insert icons? Well, iconography is a great way for students to be able to navigate documents even if they are kind of in not the best readers. If you kind of get into a mode of using iconography, it's a way for your students to recognize things without it's just that great visual cue. And I like to use the material icons. And I'm just going to leave this slide up this here for you to read, and you can pause it and read it more. I like the material icons because that's things that you're going to see everywhere. It's the same icons over and over and over again. Now note that it has the color here. I just came up with this color. You can choose with the color picker and make whatever color you want your icons to be. So however it fits best into your document. Once you find the icon that you want, you simply click on it and it's going to insert that icon into your document. Now, we have one more extension to show you about here, and that's called the color picker. So say I wanted to make my icons the same color as this blue that's in this text right here. I'm going to take that color picker and I'm going to bring it over that blue. And now I'm going to Control C where I've got the hex code there. Close that out and I'm going to go into the color. And now this is the color of my document. So now I can bring, or of my icons. Now I can bring this icon in and it's going to be that same blue color as I had on that text. So you can choose to kind of theme your colors. What a great way to make a visual language of what students might need to do or what they can see without even having to have words behind it because the icon tells them and helps them out. Okay, so we are on Doc Tools now. So let me go ahead. That is for Docs. So I'm going to go into this document. What does Doc Tools do? Well, this is what it does. I have a little sidebar that comes up here and I've just put some text ready to go. This is always so awesome to be able to have, is to be able to sort text inside of a Google Doc without it being in a table. So I've put some fruits in there and I can actually sort that right inside of my doc without having to have that, like I said, without having to have that table in there. Numbers to words, kind of interesting. So I've got a number there. So let's go ahead and put that out to words. Sorry about that. Cool. How about words to numbers? Same thing in the opposite way. You can change case. So I can make this all uppercase. I can make this all lowercase. I could choose to capitalize each word. Just some great little tools, and it just saves so much time instead of editing things one by one, clicking in and out about how to change some of the text that's inside your doc. So that is Doc Tools. Read aloud text to speech. So when we are in our document here, I'm just going to bring this one back up, and I'm going to bring that read aloud in there. Always in a Google Doc, we can do speech to text. So that's where we can just talk out and the doc types it out for us. But what about the other way around? That's what Read Aloud TTS does. TTS is text to speech. We have the language, we have the voice, we can change speed or pitch, but if we're all ready to go, now we can have that Google Doc read to us.
Once upon a time, an alligator and a monkey were riding in an ambulance. Then, all of a sudden, a frog jumped on the windshield and started shouting, "Take me to the nearest river. I need to meet up with my friends, the seagull, the rabbit." The end. Just adding more text to this to show how draftback shows the different times of being on a document.
Because I've used that before for other things there, but that is so great to be able to have that Google Doc read aloud to you right inside without having worrying about how to get so many other tools. So that's that Read Aloud TTS. Change case inside of a Sheets document. So many times if you get exports, especially from Skyward, your text comes in and looks like this. You might have some that's a mix of upper and lowercase or something that's all uppercase. With this installed, I can highlight my text, go into my extension and change the case, and I can say first letter capitals, and there you go. It changes it all for me. Amazing. Form limiter. If you've never used form limiter before, this is a great way for you to set a limit on a Google form. I've got a little fake Google form here that I've made out, and I'm going to go into my puzzle piece where the add-on is at, and I'm going to choose form limiter and set the limit. Now once it pops up in the corner here, the limit that I use the most is date and time. So that is saying that on March 10th at 5 o'clock p.m., I want this form to stop taking responses. I can even choose to say what I want that to say on the page if somebody would click it after the time. I could just say, sorry, whoops, sorry, you missed out. And then you can choose to have an email sent to you when the form gets closed. I like that because then I know that it happened. And then once I click Save and Enable, that is on that. And so if I were to broadcast this form out for people to use on February 10th at 5 o'clock, no one could use it anymore. So that's Form Limiter add-on. And one last one, let's talk about Autocrat. All right, Autocrat is the quote-unquote Google version of mail merge like you used to be able to do with a Word document. So I've taken some of this form and I've filled out some responses, and this is the responses that I get. So I have the column, it said, what is your first name? What is your season? What's your favorite color? And then what I've done is I've created a template, and you can do this in either Docs or Slides. And then once I've created that template, notice that I have the options of what these are right across the top as where the data is going to be pulled into and individualized for each report. So let me show you how it works. Got my data. I'm going to go into my extension. I'm going to choose Autocrat. We're going to launch it out. Start a new job. And we'll just say Autocrat demo for WEMTA. Next. And it says you can choose a template. Now, since I just did this one right away here, it says I want to actually find the document that says Form Limiter Demo Template. So I'm going to go ahead and go from Drive. And it should be one of the first ones come up because I just did it recently just to be able to have it ready for this demo. Right there it is. Form Limiter Document. It's going to bring it in, and I'm going to choose Next. And it's going to say what is the, make sure that you've got the merge. And yet, yes, there's a header row, so we don't need to have that data in there. We just want it where the data starts, that's row 2. What's your name? Goes to what's your name? What's your favorite season? Goes to that, goes to that. Next, you can say what the file name is. You can choose it if it's a Google Docs or PDF. I'm going to choose it as a PDF, and I'm going to choose it as a single output. And that means it's going to have each page is going to fill with the data for each person. And yes, I want a page break between each one. So I could just print out this one PDF and have that on there. Next, you choose a destination folder if you want to. Mine's already chosen for me. I never have done anything with this dynamic folder. I've never set up any merge conditions. You probably could figure that out, but I'm just showing you the basics of AutoCrat. If you want to share the doc, you can. I don't need to for this demo. You can choose to have some job triggers. So say someone fills out a form, do you want it to automatically generate something back? That's like if you fill something out and people can get a certificate emailed back to you. Or you can choose to run it on a time trigger. We don't need to do that for this. I'm going to choose save. And we're going to have our job saved for us. Now I need to run that job, so I'm going to go ahead and press the play button. So notice in the background, it added these columns with headers on there. It's going to have data behind here that we can't see right now, and the job is already done. Now, if I look and see this, it says right here, it says here's the doc, and here's a link to it too. But if I go to this document right here, remember how we said it's going to be a PDF? Look, there it is. And it took everybody's submissions and put them in like a mail merge. Now I know this is really quick, but at least it kind of gives you an idea of how to use AutoCrat. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing add-on that you can bring into your Google environment. Oh, let's talk about some Google goodies. So many times people want to do things and they're like, oh, I need a website to do this. Well, not necessarily. All of these things you see right here on the left, you can do right inside of Google without an additional website. So if I just start a new tab and I do calculator, without having anything else, a calculator will come up. What are some of the other ones that we can have? Well, let me get two windows here so we can kind of see. And I'm going to do the resizing of my own. Okay, so at calculator, you can just do timer. And you got a timer right there, and you can choose what you want it to be. You can choose stopwatch instead. A speed test, very good thing to do if you think your internet's kind of being wonky. No matter if it's at home or at school, you can run that speed test to see if that's doing good. Conversions, so any type of measurement conversion, cooking conversion, money conversion, of course you can do right in Google. How about the time in Chicago? And it's going to give me the time right in where I say at. Of course, translate, reverse image search. Another one that people don't realize that's right there is the metronome and the tuner. So I can have a metronome. I can change the beats per minute if I want to, but what about if that tuner? Great thing for your instrumentalist to have. I think that maybe is under the metronome. And then you have, and there's the tuner you can bring up. So it's going to gauge. What's I got? Press the mic to go. Gauge. So I was singing that B flat and seeing if I could get it into tune. Amazing. Flip a coin, roll a die. How about meditate? Oh, maybe that's not in there. But that used to be in there if come up for one. So anyway, how about the play? You know, the kids will do this one over and over and over again. You got the snake game right in there, tic-tac-toe. I love animal sounds, especially for the little kids. So we can, it'll just bring up these animals. And you can listen to their sounds. Amazing. Play a game of solitaire. Google in 1998. If you really want to blow somebody's mind, that's what it used to look like. Ugh, can you imagine? I know, way back in the day. And I can just say, take me back to the present. And of course, I'm in dark mode here, so that's why mine might look a little bit different than yours. Do a barrel roll. It does exactly that. Let's make this a little bit more squarer. So when I'm in there, it actually turns around. A fun one. And if you press this little microphone.
To the right now. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. One hop this time. One hop this time. Right foot, 2 stomps.
You might be, asking yourself, why am I showing this? Well, okay, for one thing, they're just fun. Sometimes it's fun to do that, find those little Easter eggs inside of Google. But another thing to think about it is that somebody actually gets paid to do this. They actually get paid to make these little things to come up on Google. What a unique discussion to have with students about the coding and what's involved with that and how that's actually a career that somebody does that. You can see these other ones, but the final one I'm going to share is about the friends. If you Google each friend, so if I Google Ross Geller, he has the couch and he gets...
Pivot! 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 Okay, I don't think it's going to pivot anymore.
If I have Joey Tribbiani, he gets...
Joey doesn't share food!
And I have to think that my favorite one is Phoebe.
Smelly cat, what are they feeding you? Smelly cat, it's not your fault.
So just some Google goodies that you can have there. Work and for play. Now I see we have just a little bit of time left in this 1 hour session. I have some sites that I just thought I would share out with you that I just think are really cool. Some things that you can bring into your learning environment or share with your teachers at your school. The first one I want to share is called Start Me. Start Me is kind of like a bookmark page. You can think of it like a Wakelet. You know, it just has some bookmarks, but I like the way that it visually looks. This is what my Start Me page looks like here. So you can choose to have links, like just one, small images, medium images, large images. I've brought in an embedded web page here, so it has the content from another web page on a web page. You can have your links look like this. Have a calculator, have some text, bring up the weather. There's my Twitter feed coming up right there that I can see the posts that I've done. A clock. What's cool about this is, especially for an interactive whiteboard, a great way for you to organize all your links and be able just to touch them and go. Without having a whole lot of muss and fuss, it's just one panel right in front of you. Now I'm using the free version of Start Me. I think that it's great. You can have up to 3 Start Me pages with unlimited widgets and unlimited links on there. So you pretty well could get yourself going without having to pay a dime to use Start Me. Another one is Classroom Screen. If you haven't used Classroom Screen before, it's great. It's another way to do some kind of widget things. If I can create a new screen. I'm using the quote-unquote paid version, but these are available in the free version. You just can't save your screens in the free version. But you can bring up all sorts of widgets. We can bring up a timer. We can choose how long we want the timer to be. It's got that visual element, this part of the icon element, the countdown element, and then of course it's going to have a sound as well. You can even have a couple timers going at the same time if you wanted to. So you could have one going for this amount of time, another going for that amount of time. You can have any amount of widgets up at the same time. I like the traffic light, just a nice visual image. These work symbols here, again, just another visual library. A drawing pad, text pad, image. The sound level, kind of like what I'll show you next. So it's actually showing the sound level, and you can have it to choose to do a sound when it gets too loud. And you can change the threshold on that if you want to, but it just shows that different sound. You can put up a QR code. Love this because it's so easy. It's right inside one thing. and I can generate that QR code and it comes right up on the screen. You can do a polling options. There's some, you can hide those at the bottom. You can change your background. There's calendar dice you can embed in there, stopwatch. You can bring up your webcam. Love Classroom Screen. It's just kind of a one-stop space, especially good like if you're on an interactive panel as well, to have all those tools in one place. Bouncy balls, that's kind of a way to kind of gauge the sound that's going on. And you have your microphone on. And as you're making the sound, you can choose what you want to have. If it gets too loud, you can have it play a sound. I have the eyeballs, but of course you can change it just to the bouncy balls. Emojis are super fun for the kids. Maybe you want to bring up numbers. That's kind of fun. And then just the bubbles. And when I'm talking, this makes the difference. And it has that come up and it said it was too noisy. Magnetic poetry. Whoops. Magnetic poetry, super fun to do. Not only do you get the original kit, but you can bring up the nature, a kids kit, a geek kit, or the happiness, and be able to do this. Fun link to share with students. Awesome fun on an interactive panel to do that. Blob Opera and Blob Beats, part of the Google Experiments page. Blob Opera. And I can... And of course you can go through the tutorial. I'm going to skip it for now. And you can bring in different places around the world. And when you bring in different places, they sing different songs to you. And you can choose to even turn certain blobs on and off. Now with Blob Beats, this is kind of a new one. It takes those blobs and it kind of puts them into like Guitar Hero style. So the blobs are going to come down to some classical songs. And you can choose your level. And those are your keys that you use. And like I said, it's like a Guitar Hero with the blobs. Online voice recorder is simply what it is. This is the one I recommend to everyone. That it's a simple way to be able to do an online recording and make an MP3 and be able to put that anywhere. So if you need something longer than what Emote would do, online voice recorder is what you need. Toy Theater is kind of deceptive, especially when you go into the teacher tools here. Amazing teacher tools that are here available for you. A lot of them math related, but amazing tools, especially money counters, dominoes. We got all your 2-color counters, even doing tangrams. Fantastic, awesome things to bring in with that. Again, it's called Toy Theater, but all those teacher tools are right inside there. And finally, our last little bonus is the webcam toy. Remember Photo Booth on the iOS devices? This is Photo Booth for your desktop or your Chromebook. If we bring that on here, it's going to go ahead and turn on your camera, and you can choose a bunch of different effects. And of course, the kids love this kind of stuff, to be able to do that, like the tunnel, the split screen, that trail one. That does that right there. You can see all the different options. The pinching, the wedge, the ripple, the stretch. Might be kind of some fun ways for students to create some images. And all you have to do is choose what element you want it to be. And take the picture. Okay, how scary is that? But the kids will have a great time with it. So, I guess we are at the end of our time here. Thank you so much for watching this recording. If you have any questions, you can always contact me through my social media channels or through my website. Again, all of the resources are available at trishalewis.com/WEMTA-Feb-23. If you like what you hear, please be sure to check out my podcast called The 1-5. It's a weekly podcast that explains one tech tool in less than 5 minutes. So it's a quick listen, and you'll be able to get some interesting tools that you can bring into your learning environment. Again, thank you so much for joining me and listening and watching this recording. I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you for all you do for all of our students everywhere. Have a good one.